Welcome to Qingdao, China's sailing city, venue for the 2008 Olympic Sailing Regatta. We were well into the second day of racing at the third act of the Extreme Sailing Series. Again, we have 8 world-class teams here competing in the very heart of Qingdao, overlooked by an imposing backdrop of skyscrapers on a really tight, short stadium racetrack. Yesterday we did 5 open water races in light conditions, which saw Alinghi, winners of the last act in Singapore, continue their run of form, winning 3 races. As we go into the race number 11, we have less than 2 minutes to go. Nick, similar conditions to the last race.
Yeah, I actually feel like there's a little bit more wind this time, Andy. It does appear to be slightly stronger. There's more wind on the race committee flags for sure, and the race committee boat has actually changed position through it's being pushed by the wind. But into this 1 minute sequence, the guys are all hanging back a little bit further than they were last start, so they got more confidence in the wind strength in order to be able to sheet on and harness as much breeze as they can and hit this start line at full speed.
A few words on positioning on this line. Alinghi seem to like to start towards the pin. Why is that in particular?
Well, Alinghi are always, when they can, they're setting themselves up to the pin end of line, which is furthest away from the screen, to set themselves up as the inside position, just very similar to Formula 1 motor racing in having that inside position at any mark rounding. So that first mark being our red mark and making that left-hand turn around the red mark sets them up nicely.
But it is a slightly high-risk strategy, is it not?
Well, big problems here for Team Aberdeen.
Yeah, here we go. So 2 boats over the line there. OCS called for China team and also Pindar.
Absolutely, and we can see both boats now trying to get back to that start line. Very difficult start there for a real team. They got spat out the back effectively, but another great one for Alinghi up at the head of the fleet. And
a good start also for Red Bull. Two bad starts in a row. They've got this one nailed nicely, haven't they? Absolutely.
Red Bull looked great there. They were just flying a hull a second ago. And that will give them, well, hopefully a little bit of a bow out position on Alinghi as they approach that mark. But Alinghi now looking like she's overlapped coming into the mark, which will give her control. In fact, it is Red Bull clear ahead.
Alinghi getting round in second with Team Korea on the outside. Not such a great start then for Muscat, for the Wave Muscat for Lee McMillan, just having to tuck behind Team Korea as they go round the first mark, with the SAP hard on their transom just behind them.
Yeah, it's quite interesting here. 3 of the top 4 boats have elected to make a manoeuvre on the mark and make their way back towards the this sort of left-hand side of the downwind course, while Team Korea opted to go straight ahead, now making her manoeuvre on the far side. But it looks like those that have manoeuvred earlier have found a little bit more wind earlier. Alinghi looking strong there. The Wave also looking strong. More breeze, faster than the guys on the right-hand side.
Putting up a little bit of a challenge to Red Bull, the early leaders. The Red Bull have got some nice acceleration on that right side, looking downwind.
Yeah, Red Bull are going to be solid here in Qingdao. It's going to be interesting to see the next few days how it plays out. But you know, Roman Agara is they spent a lot of time here training for the Olympics, and
saying they've been here since 2005, I think.
Yeah, a couple of years preceding the game, spending a lot of time and effort trying to work out the currents, the winds, etc. So they're very, very familiar here.
What about that partnership that's gone on for so long and been so successful between him and Hans Peter? It's a vital dynamic on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys don't seem to go anywhere without each other, and it's a really important partnership in trust and belief. And I guess when one says something, they have complete understanding and trust in what should, you know, what events should unfold from that information, and that makes a huge difference to anywhere you go. And if we look through the depths of the highest levels of sailing, it was a format that Russell Coots incorporated with his team of 4 or 5 guys that he carried through all of his America's Cups and beyond the America's Cup in outside sailing in other classes. They were just a solid bunch of guys that had a formula that was unbeatable for many, many years.
So certainly working for Red Bull just now as they lead through the leeward gate and up this first beat, or second beat really.
Yeah, absolutely. At that point, you start to take a breather and you go, okay, we survived the first 2 legs and we actually have a little bit of a gap here. We've got Alinghi hot on our heels, which is always a threat. But they'll be going, okay, we're away from the principal bun fight, which, you know, in positions 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, they are really strongly contested in that back part of the fleet.
The Wave just lost out a little bit coming away from the mark. But just protecting against SAP behind and China team and Pindar not far behind them.
Will be interesting here to see if the Red Bull team can hold off Alinghi for this race. It is a bit of a boat speed test for them now as those 2 boats extend now into lead positions. They're looking really, really strong as they start to head upwind towards this 3rd leg of this race. You know, when we're in Singapore, I was trying to actually get an indication of what was making Alinghi so fast in the light winds, and I was out in a Zodiac boat, and every time I went behind them to try and get a really good visual perspective of their sail setup, etc., they would slow down and ease sails, and I'm pretty sure
so there's something there for sure.
There's definitely something there, and they were completely onto me, and they were not prepared to let me really have a good bird's eye view over what their setup looked like.
And you being such good friends with Morgan, he's not told you yet.
No, he's not. Everything's guarded, you know. It's a really difficult thing in high-level racing where you have a lot of friends, but there is always a barrier between that real honest, true friendship because, you know, one week they might be best man at your wedding and the next week you might be competing against them.
In the meantime, Red Bull doing nice work over on that left side, looking upwind, just close to the pier there. Just getting a little puff as they come away. Team Korea were very slow for a while there, Nick, but they seem to be managing to come back across the course. Still very open behind the Wave Muscat. This battle for 4th to 8th again raging as it did in the previous race.
As we see Red Bull rounding that green mark and heading on to their 2nd lap of this 2-lap race. It's a real testament to how attractive this format of sailing is, and in particular this event, the Extreme Sailing Series, being so global, to attract brands such as Red Bull, being such an iconic sport brand, for them to see the value in investing in such an event as the Extreme Sailing Series. Very, very close quarter sailing here.
It's incredible, isn't it?
As we see Red Bull just splitting the gap between...
I wouldn't call that a gap.
Still weaving her way around the stern of Team China there.
SCP just a little bit slow through their manoeuvre there as they make final approach to the top mark. A fairly established order at the top of the fleet, then the top 3 just now, Nick.
Yeah, and it has been interesting. We are starting to see some consistency in guys that just appear to be working out the conditions better than others, and they seem to be getting more consistently good starts. They seem to be picking the right side of the course, upwind and downwind, more consistently. So it's the other guys that are in those lesser placings in that 4th, 5th, 6th bunch that are always seem to be duking out, they need to start getting their head out of the boat and putting the pieces of this puzzle together and making sure that they are contesting at the front of the pack. It's very, very easy to get your head in on board the boat as we're looking on board SAP here, where you've got a lot of close quarter sailing in those 4th, 5th, 6th positions. You're concentrating so much on the boats that are so close to you that you stop looking across the course to work out where the more wind is or the wind shift's coming from, etc. And you can become quite closed shop.
SAP, new to the circuit last season, really have found their form coming into this regatta, as we said. But Pete coming on board, a stalwart of the team, very, very experienced sailor in the extreme 40s.
Yeah, Pete for sure. Pete's won this circuit before, and he's a very, very experienced sailor, particularly in the extreme 40. But Jez Graham Hansen and the team on board, they have been so predominant in match racing around the world at such a high level. There is no real surprise from my point of view that they are doing so well. And I think as competitors, they are really hard on themselves. So they actually, you can see when they're down. It's one of those things. Great to have these onboard images as they're on board now, because right now they'll be feeling quite comfortable. But the race previously, I think they wanted in last. So
that's right. They had one yesterday as well when they were last. They were well up the fleet and they took a penalty, and that was game over in that particular race. But transferring the skill sets from match racing to this faster, more intense variety of sailing, it's still the same basic skills, isn't it? Fast, speed of thought and decision making.
Absolutely. I think my experience in match racing, it was a game of it was just a punch up really. You're fighting all the time. You were head down, and you just had to wrestle the boat around the course. You had to make it happen. A mark appeared in front of you. You had to get around it. You had to get the spinnaker down and away, etc. And that's very similar to what is required in this sort of close quarter stadium sailing. You can be head down, head down, head down. All of a sudden there's a rounding mark right next to you, and you have to make it happen. You have to get the Jenica away, or you have to open it, and you have to be going as fast as you possibly can towards the next mark. So I think there's a lot of similarities between that intense close quarter match racing and what we experience here in the Extreme Sailing Series stadium format.
So Alinghi making a little bit of a charge, catching Red Bull a little bit, just saw the hull lifting nicely on Alinghi for a short period. Then they've got back into Red Bull just a little bit, but I think that Roman Hagara should manage to get around this final mark. And also nice bit of speed just now from Oman, from The Wave. Lee McMillan just also charging up into Alinghi a little bit.
Yeah, Alinghi there flying a hull quite nicely. It is great to see a little bit more breeze come down across this course. That was quite interesting from Team Red Bull. The position in which they made their manoeuvre, their tack we would call it, was right on the air of Alinghi and forced them to tack away. It was a match racing manoeuvre, so it's also an indication that they feel quite threatened about the advance that Alinghi's had on the gap that's separating them. And right now we see Red Bull making their final manoeuvre into that green mark, and it's a slow manoeuvre, whereas Alinghi approaching with full hull fly. They should round that mark with a bit more momentum and potentially even close that gap more.
We think the time should run out for Alinghi perhaps. I think you never quite know there.
They're closing the gap all the time here as they head down on this final lap towards this final leg towards the finish. Both boats rotating into a manoeuvre simultaneously. This is an attack manoeuvre from Alinghi.
They just need a little puff, a little bit of acceleration coming out of the manoeuvre, and they could have the chance to close down Red Bull before the line.
A really nice manoeuvre there from Red Bull should get them home.
Fantastic finish. Fastest sailing we've seen all day, I think, here in Qingdao. And the double Olympic gold medalist should just get across the line. Obstructed a little bit as they get there by two boats coming upwind. Just squeeze round the back of a real team and get the gun. Alinghi come across for second, and the Wave Muscat will get third. So in terms of the overall standings, then another point for Alinghi, opening up another point on the Wave. And meantime, real team being given a penalty there. Real team going through the line, but they're not actually finishing. They're just completing that penalty. They're still got to go upwind. An expensive problem for them there. Nick, did you see what happened?
I didn't see what happened, Andy, unfortunately, but penalties in this race format are all really detrimental, and that the consequences of that exoneration have now put real team in last place.
Especially late on in the race, of course.
Absolutely. In the early stages of the race, as you indicate, that you do have chances to get back amongst it, but in that later portion of the race, it's a really, really difficult scenario to swallow.
So Pindar come across for fifth place.
Yeah, an interesting team here. A lot of young guys from New Zealand are really stepping up with a fantastic opportunity to compete on this, in this format, in this circuit against some very superior in terms of experience competitors.
Little twist in the kite for Team Korea, not the way you want to be finishing, Nick, really.
Well, they're fortunate that they have a really big margin on China team and real team behind them, because something like that is a real race loser.
You're saying about the GAC Pindar team, young match racers who I think are doing the Red Bull America's Cup.
Absolutely, and as a whole, it's really interesting to see opportunities such as the Red Bull Youth America's Cup squad, etc., and the opportunity for a full youth team to come on board the Extreme Sailing Series and race at such a high level under, you know, great partnerships and great sponsorships. You know, back in our day, it was really difficult to find access as a young sailor into that really high-end level of sailing, and now more and more opportunities are being created all the time.
So a good win then for Red Bull, for Roman Hagara, Heinz-Peter Steinacher, the double Olympic medalists who have been sailing here since 2005. And we spoke with Roman before racing today.
Okay, I'm here with Roman Hagara, skipper of Red Bull sailing team. Now, Roman, how's it been going here in Qingdao for you and the team?
So far not so good. The first day was pretty light winds, and we couldn't get our heads out of the boat and make some really bad decisions around the race course the whole day. And hopefully we started the day better off today and get some better results in.
Coming into this event though, you must be very happy with the performance. You guys are on top of the table with Alinghi, so you know, the best start to a series you've ever had.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first two acts were really good. First one we had a big chance to win it, and the second one we were second and hanging in there. And yeah, now third one was not the best start we ever had, but I mean, we still have 3 days to go, and we're looking forward for the next days.
But the confidence has got to be up. 2013, you know, it seems to have been a great year for you guys. So you must be thinking, you know, if we can keep building on what we've done already, we'll continue to do better and get an event win under our belt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the goal for the year, and we were really close, as I said, in Oman, and there is still 6 events to go, so it's a few more chances, and we always try and get our best and try hard for it.
And Alinghi have obviously did very well in the last act in Singapore. They've had a very good first day here in China. Now, how do you think you're going to deal with them? Because they weren't as competitive last year. It was all about the wave. How are you going to now deal with the threat from Alinghi?
It looks like we leave the wave and Alinghi dealing with each other, and hopefully we are the ones who can go on top of them. So I think we are a little bit more outside of this battle. It looks like these are the two teams to beat, and yeah, I mean, if we can be in this battle, it would be good, and that's what we try.
Thank you very much for your time today, Roman. Good luck today.
So that's Roman Hagara, the double Olympic medalist from Austria and Red Bull Racing, winners of the last race. Looking at how things stand then after race 11, then Alinghi lead by on 87 points. The Wave Muscat, Lee McMillan and his team in second on 84. SAP Extreme Sailing team still in third. Third overall, as we said, in Singapore. Third overall is the standings at the moment here in Qingdao. GAC Pindar on 68 points. Red Bull on 67, Team Korea on 67, and Real Team on 66. So only 3 points between 7th and 3rd just now. Very, very close as we going straight into the next race. We're about 3 minutes. We're going to have a look at how things work on the Extreme Sailing Series.
All teams race identical 40-foot-long multi-hulls. They're fast, and closing speeds can be in excess of 100 kilometers an hour. With racing taking place on compact stadium courses, incidents can and do happen. Trying to get now behind Team Extreme, they've hit them! The boats are also extremely overpowered, so when the wind blows hard, they can capsize. This is the Wave Muscat, they're over! Oh, the bows are dug in, the crews are clinging on. Oh, crash, the mast has gone! Oh! At each of the 8 Extreme Sailing Series event locations, around 30 races are held. Each lasts between 10 and 15 minutes. Teams must count every single race result. It's 10 points for a race win, 9 points for second, and so on. The team with the highest score at the end of the event wins.
So that's how it works. We're going back live onto the water. We have less than 2 minutes to go into race number 12. I'm joined by Steve Ansell. Steve, fantastic racing. Wind has picked up a little bit for this, what we think will be the final race of the day.
Yes, indeed, Andy. Yes, it has picked up a bit, and I think the race officers are quite pleased about it because tomorrow's forecast isn't so good. So, yeah, we're looking forward to even more racing. And the race course right inside the harbour here really is stadium racing at its best, isn't it?
It is indeed. We're just looking at the course just now, similar to the last one, but 5 marks of the course and then down through the finish line at the finish gate off the VIP tent. We're 1 minute to go before the start. Breeze is probably 8 or 9 knots, something like that. Steve, looks to have filled across the course better than we've seen so far today, and it's been a pretty intense day, hasn't it?
It certainly has been, and this reaching start is something that is quite new to some sailors, isn't it? A real fast start off to the first mark, and the timing is so critical on this. And it's interesting to see how the crews have been pushed. And I know on that last race we saw 2 over the line. Are we going to get it on this time?
I think it's quite possible, but nice to see, or interesting to see Alinghi starting more towards the right side of the pack. They've been consistent towards the pin end of the line, towards the left side of the course. Alinghi pushing forward early. We have 8 seconds to go.
Alinghi's going to be early.
Alinghi could be a little bit early there. This could be expensive. They look to be well over, actually. In fact, a number of boats over. Alinghi are over the line. That's expensive in this final race of the day probably. Korea also, we believe, are over the start line. Nice start again from Roman Hagara and the team on Red Bull, starting at the pin end of the line, fully flying with the hull in the air.
Yeah, Team Korea going back over the line, that's going to cost them dearly there. But yes, the breeze certainly picking up now, and the hulls just beginning to kiss the water, flying in the air as they come down to this first reach mark.
Yeah,
who's going to get first?
I think it looks like Red Bull will get round in the first. The Wave, Muscat second round probably. Fairly solid start from Lee McMillan and his team. GAC Pindar going round on the outside. Nice early set in the Jenniker for them. That's just taking them round the bows of the Wave Muscat. And really nice acceleration from Will Tiller and his team as they pick up a really great gust, making their manoeuvre slightly later than Red Bull.
Yeah, the breeze makes a big difference here, doesn't it? And the boats, it really shows how the boats slow down at these turn marks, and to keep the speed on there. GSE Pindar just went right round the outside of Muscat, the Wave.
That's right, and the early hoist for them helped them a little bit with their Jenniker. I think they're probably fairly even just now with the Red Bull coming down this first run as they head for the gate mark. Alinghi back in 7th place, but they have nice speed. They should close down into the pack a little bit as they get downwind.
Driving in unison, going down for the gate mark. GAT Pindar in front.
Yeah, overtook Red Bull then. Nice move from Lee McMillan on the Wave Muscat, coming round in good pressure, working round the outside there.
Staying clear of the pack at the moment is the Wave. But GC Pindar then, that sprint round the red mark really paid off for them, keeping the boat speed going as they went through that jibe, and getting nice clear wind now. They're opening up a nice lead.
Yeah, indeed, as the Wave Muscat, as we said, Lee McMillan and his team going round the right-hand gate mark, only team to do so that on as they come on to the upwind leg. We've seen consistently more pressure on this right side looking upwind, and that might be an opportunity for the Wave Muscat to come across and reach that first. But meantime, GAC Pindar looking solid in the lead just now. Come into nice puff.
Yeah, nice puff coming towards us on port tack with no rights of way, but nice and clear for them. Red Bull into the tack as well. A bit of a different set of leaders here than we've seen earlier in the day.
That's right. The challenge then is for Alinghi to get back into this. That early start cost them very dearly. Really need to find themselves some opportunities. Just 2 points of a lead, and at the moment they're more than 2 boats behind the Wave Muscat. This could be the opportunity that Lee McMillan and team are looking for. Winners of the first regatta of the season, but Alinghi are attacking very, very fast for a few seconds just now. Best pressure on the racecourse, I would say. Coming across on starboard towards the Wave Muscat, just running out of pressure a little bit as GAC Pindar come up to the top mark.
The Wave Muscat now coming across on starboard tack, flying a hull, but it looks like the real team are just going to squeeze in front, as do Red Bull. Yeah, the Wave Muscat on starboard tack with right of way, but the 2 port tack boats got it across in front clear, as Alinghi flies a hull going into the tack, keeping on the boat speed, displaying their wares for the audiences here. This is going to tighten up towards this top mark. Andy?
Yeah, for sure. I think Pindar should just get round this windward mark just in time, I think. Got a little bit of separation on the chasing pack, but meantime Alinghi closing up nicely all the time on the Wave. Starboard tack advantage as they go across here towards SAP. Very, very close at this top mark. As Red Bull come round in second, the real team come round for third.
Now what the Wave Muscat can't do here is slow down enough for Morgan Larson to actually call on them, but they're going to squeeze in front. Yep, they kept the boat speed going. And they're heading into that green mark, the top mark. the one farthest up into the wind.
So nice work on board GAC Pindar, nice slick manoeuvres. Helped, of course, with a little extra wind pressure now.
In fact, Alinghi get a little bit tangled up with Mitch Booth on the China team. And I know that Lee McMillan will be watching that with a great interest, because he wants at least 2 boats between him and Alinghi in order to square it away.
Certainly more consistent breeze across the racetrack in this race makes life a little bit easier in terms of picking a way up and down the different legs. But it's also that bit more intense, that no margin for error in terms of the strategy coming into the marks. So Red Bull, the winners of the previous race, chasing down GAC Pindar.
Alinghi coming down here with a lot of pace on.
As GAC Pindar go round the leeward gate, heading to the left as we look upwind, in good pressure, nobody challenging them immediately. A little shimmy for Red Bull as they come to the mark. Cost them a little bit of a distance on the leaders. Alinghi still pushing hard, niggling the Wave Muscat all the time. Lee McMillan and his team feeling the pressure, I'm quite sure.
A little bit of match racing going on here, isn't there? These two at the top of the leaderboard.
Indeed, I think we might just have SCP in between them now. So nice work from Lee McMillan as he comes round the leeward gate in 4th place. I think that...
yeah, that's nice, isn't it? How he's managed to squeeze SAP in between him and Alinghi. They just need to get a bit of boat speed on now, because they slowed right up at this gate mark.
That's right.
And Alinghi's going around the outside.
He might just have enough pace to do that. The Wave Muscat just very, very slow, and there we see the bows of Alinghi just passing around the outside of the Wave. It was an expensive error for the team who are the defending overall champions in the Extreme Sailing Series, winners of the 2012 title and the winners of the first regatta in Muscat earlier on this season. And very smooth, cool, calm, collected work from the Alinghi team, spotting that extra pressure, working around the outside.
Tables turned a little bit then. Alinghi now heading out to the far left-hand side of the course as you look up it. Being chased this time by the Wave Muscat. Alinghi is tagged. Ah, no. The Wave Muscat also attacked. They think they can lay the mark. Race within a race here.
That's right, nice little match race. Alinghi, of course, the double winners of the America's Cup.
Pretty evenly matched as they're coming up this windward leg. As at the top mark for the second time. GAC Pindar round safely.
Yeah, and if this GAC Pindar hold on to this lead in this race, that would take them up to 3rd overall. And SAP, who were 3rd overall, presently tussling for 7th or 8th place. Mitch Booth and China team just almost having enough pace to get through their lee as SAP Extreme just accelerate, calling the umpires for an infringement perhaps.
Very tight too as well between the two overall leaders at the top of the table.
In fact, I think Muscat, the Wave Muscat, just managing to get into lee bow position now and pushing Alinghi up as
GAC Qingdao gets its win then.
That's right, they get their win. That should take them to third overall in the standings for this regatta. And the Wave Muscat just managed to squeeze through the lee of Alinghi.
He's having to push really hard up into that mark, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just going to try and shoot it.
Oh, a protest flag up on Alinghi, being luffed at the mark.
Let's see what happens here, but I think that certainly the Alinghi crew remonstrating with the umpires a little bit.
Still holding the penalty flag, appeal flag up. So that's going to be talked about this evening, I would think.
Red Bull gets second, and Real Team should cross for third. It's going to be interesting now. It seems like a little bit of a...
Lee McMillan is pushing Alinghi well out of the way by luffing them right in towards the VIP area.
Alinghi maybe will just have the legs to get round the bows of the Wave. Still no sign of any penalty so far.
Alinghi now putting China team through a jibe as well, having right of way as they come down. It's going to be a little bit of a drag race here between the Wave, Muscat and Alinghi. Who's going to get to the line first?
I think the Wave just picking up a little bit of pressure.
Yes, and of course the Wave has right of way here, sailing on starboard tack with wind on the right-hand side. Can they hold off Alinghi? Or is Alinghi going to squeeze round the front of them?
The other thing
to the line.
The other thing that will influence them a little bit is China team coming across.
Yes. And Alinghi's going to have to... Oh, yes. Now the umpires are going to have a look at that one as well, because it is a bit of a mess. And China team luffing hard on Alinghi.
And this could be the opportunity for the Wave Muscat to come down across the bows of Alinghi. It's going to be very, very close.
Wow. That's really close. Wouldn't like to call that photo finish. Lee McMillan is shaking his hands.
I think, yeah.
In the air.
I think he's just saying that Alinghi get there ahead of the Wave.
Alinghi got it?
Yeah, I would think so. That's...
Well, there's a lot happening in this race then, Andy.
There was in the end, yeah, but Alinghi come away with the spoils then in terms of the overall lead. Remains intact. It was very, very intense, very close at that top mark. So we understand we're going to do one more race, just taking the opportunity while the breeze is up. As you said, think a light day ahead of us tomorrow, light and foggy, so while there's breeze we're going to keep going. But Alinghi then the class act of the day, Steve.
Yes, it certainly is, and they were the class act yesterday in the very light breeze as well, weren't they? They seemed to come through quite consistently, so good performance by Morgan Larson, and you know, they've managed to hang on to it. I have to say the first couple of races here inside the harbour here in the stadium position, they didn't look very strong, and a few other boats have come through that hadn't done so well, but certainly evened up the game now, haven't they?
They have indeed. I think the little bit of extra pressure, and I think they started to get their starts a little bit cleaner. They struggled a little bit in the early part of the day, just getting off the line. But Alinghi will still be leading overall. Should be again 1 more point ahead of the Wave Muscat, and so the overall standings then still show Alinghi leading overall and on 93 points, the Wave Muscat on 89, GAC Qingdao then stealing third place for the moment on 78 points. Red Bull Sailing Team, that consistent results for them today, now up to fourth place overall. SAP Extreme Sailing Team on 74, Real Team on 73, China Team on 71, and Team Korea then now on 70, and it's still very close for 4th to 8th places. And good work then from the GAC Qingdao team then winning that race, takes them up to 3rd overall, Steve.
Yes, it does, and yeah, good performance for them. Apart from the top two, there really is a tight number of points, isn't it?
That's right. And China team are in that mix. Then Mitch Booth and the young sailors, some of them who trained and moved through their early part of their careers here in Qingdao, and they're very much on the ascendancy just now. We spoke with Mitch Booth earlier on the day.
Okay, I'm here with Mitch Booth, skipper of China team. Now, Mitch, just talk me through your involvement with the team here in Qingdao.
Well, I've been brought in as primarily as a coach for the young team we've got on board. But we've found that the best way for the guys to learn is to really race at a high level. And so I've also taken the role of skipper, and we've done some events. We did the AC World Series in Naples last week, and we're here for the Extreme Sailing Series. And really this sort of racing, stadium racing, gives them an opportunity to do a lot of races each day against some of the best teams in the world. So it's a great opportunity for the guys to learn, and a great chance for me to get back sailing at this level too.
So yesterday you were obviously out on the water for the first day of the Extreme Sailing Series here in Qingdao, and it wasn't a terrible day. You had actually recorded a race win. So how did that come about? How did the guys feel on board about that?
Well, they were very happy, of course, you know, in front of their home crowd here. But you know, the races are very short. It's about getting a good start and making sure you can defend that. They sailed very well under pressure. You know, they were being attacked right up until the finish line from Alinghi, but they were cool. They sailed smooth and very impressive.
Now, you're obviously very familiar with this class, but for those that don't know, just remind us your history with the Extreme 40.
Well, Extreme 40 was a real passion of mine. It started back in 2004. We had an idea to make a boat that was capable of sailing in short courses, and we created this boat for exactly that. And it's really pleasing for me to see it, you know, continue in its same format, carrying a guest sailor, racing in short courses, and travelling around on a world circuit. Very satisfying to see it, you know, exactly what it was created to do. It is exciting. You've got to really have your wits about you when the breeze is up, particularly in a venue like this where there's a lot of buildings around the foreshore. If the breeze is coming from anywhere on that side, you can be guaranteed it's going to be gusty, and you know, you've just got to be so aware, ready for anything. We'd like to stay in the middle of the pack if we can. That was our objective. If we can, you know, mix it up in the middle for a few more races, then we'll be satisfied.
Okay, Mitch, have a great day today out on the water, and thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
So that's Mitch Booth, then the skipper and coach of China team, doing some good work. They've won 2 races here so far, 1 today, 1 yesterday, and they are only a matter of 7 points off the podium just now. So, and a lot of local support. We've had big crowds out today here in Qingdao, and that certainly helps, Steve, doesn't it?
Certainly does, yes. Local audience here watching and enjoying the spectacle and cheering them on. Of course, as you say, it's the local team, and they very much enjoyed the win this afternoon. Big cheer from the crowds here, and Mitch doing a great job. Really, he knows this water pretty well, but doing a great job, and very relaxed about it too, isn't he?
He is indeed. I mean, he's obviously been there and done most things in multi-hull sailing, and so no real pressure for him here. And just enjoying passing his knowledge on to the younger Chinese team, who we hope we'll see again over the course of the Extreme Sailing Series this season.
Okay, so they're all heading back towards the start area, if you like, and beginning this timed run towards the start, as we're counting down towards 2 minutes to go for the start of this last race of the day.
That's right, we're promised it'll be the last race, but while there's breeze we never quite know. But as you said, 2 minutes to go. Breeze is very much similar to what it was in the previous race. Probably 7 or 8 knots, 1 or 2 little puffs from time to time. So it'll be interesting to see how they line up this time. As we said, Alinghi have moved progressively across the track in the starting area. They started predominantly in the pin end, or towards the pin end. That's the left side looking upwind, and we can see them a little bit more right this time, looking to try and maybe come in for the committee boat this time.
Yeah, a bit more wind means a bit more boat speed, and that gives them a much more manoeuvrable options and speed options. But it looks like China team have held back quite a long way, coming down for their timed start as we count down towards the 1 minute to go. If Mitch Booth is going to speed up, he's going to have to get his sails in a bit quick.
Yeah, he's obviously quite confident down there. Just stay out of trouble just now. Just try and pick a spot in the final seconds. Alinghi look pretty cool in their position as well.
Red Bull pushing in as well at the bottom end, or the pin end of the line, farthest away from the committee.
That's right, that was pretty much the way they found things worked for them last time. They just got a little gap and accelerated nicely. You need that gap to open up at the pin end. And we're just at about 30 seconds to go. We're well up on the line at that left side of the main pack.
Here comes Mitch Booth then with lots of speed on.
Alinghi just trying to make sure they can keep a little bit of a gap to leeward on GAC Pindar. Morgan Larson will protect that space as much as he can, just rolling forward nicely then. With 10 seconds to go, that gap is opening up nicely for them. Nice timing distance. Watch as he brings the bow down. This could be Alinghi's start. 2 seconds, 1 second. Yeah, perfect peach of a start from Alinghi. Absolutely perfect. Object lesson in time on distance. And
just shows boat speed is all out there in clear wind, and he's a boat and at least a half a boat length, if not a boat length ahead now already.
In the meantime, at the pin end, that gap just never opened for Red Bull and Team Korea side by side, almost rafted up. Absolutely stalled. Meantime, Alinghi get away nicely. They're now 2 boat lengths ahead of the chasing pack. Chasing pack being led by the Wave Muscat. And SAP Extreme Sailing also in there, and GAC Pindar, winner of the last race. Nice acceleration though from the Wave Muscat there.
Alinghi attacking back.
You're not sure what happened there.
No, there was looks like there was a penalty by the umpire there of some kind. Not sure what went on there, because they've given away that lead completely, as the Wave Muscat is heading down for the gate in first place, followed by SAP.
And indeed, yes, there go the Wave Muscat, SAP in second, GAC Pindar. Alinghi giving chase again now. Good acceleration away from the mark. But this could be decisive in terms of the overall lead.
Much more action on board now, because this breeze up.
And Red Bull in the middle of the course doing their penalty. Obviously infringed Team Korea coming off the start line.
At the gate, it's the Wave Muscat just hardening up, but coming in real close behind them, SAP, as they slow down.
Interesting then, Alinghi then, I think...
splitting.
Yeah, splitting. They're going to go to that left-hand mark, looking upwind. Should be looking at it just now, a shorter distance up to the next mark. And they have nice pressure. Interesting call for them. Don't think they can go very much further. It just looks like the breeze will be a little bit quieter for them ahead, but they are coming away from the mark nicely just now.
Nice line of boats heading towards the current position, and the crowds here at the end of the pier. And Alinghi meanwhile has tacked to come and join us towards this end, but nice now breeze picking up, little hole flying on the Wave Muscat. There's the gap between the two, having split.
But Alinghi have got a very, very nice lift up on the left side of the track, looking upwind. A little bit less pressure for them, but I think they will close a little bit on the Wave.
The Wave Muscat.
Just not quite got the wind pressure that the Wave Muscat have. Just right in front of our commentary position as they put in their tack.
On to starboard tack with right of way. Will they get clear ahead of Alinghi? I'd say that they've got a good lead at the moment. Alinghi's puff of wind just died on them, leaving them a little bit slow in the middle of the course. Was that the right decision, do you think, down there at the gate to split apart?
I don't think they had much of an option really, but it should bring them back into probably 4th or 5th position.
All the boats now following the Wave Muscat, of course, have right of way over Alinghi. Alinghi's going to potentially get into just ducking behind
nice
SAP
work there,
Wool.
just getting across there. What a lovely piece of work there, getting across. That will give them a little advantage. They'll come back at the pack on starboard there as they make their tack. Maybe just give them a chance of getting ahead of SAP. It's a possibility, but the Wave Muscat doing some good work there.
That was nicely timed by Morgan Larson, wasn't it, to find that little gap in there?
Yeah,
that was crucial.
Not just the gap, I think, Steve, but also they've got some nice wind pressure. They're just accelerating there. Should be able to tack inside SAP, I think. Just going to do that as we speak. And they're up to 2nd, so fantastic recovery then overall from Alinghi.
A little bit slow though at the top mark, that tack, very slow.
Just momentarily though, they're just getting their Jenniker out nice and early, just coming into puff of breeze. You see the bows digging a little bit as the acceleration starts to kick in.
Yeah, stayed in front of SAP. So Alinghi up to 2nd. Into the jibe. Much more action this breeze bringing to the fleet in this last race of the day. SAP jibing alongside them. Could be quite a tight battle for 2nd here. SAP just not getting the acceleration that Alinghi seems to find here.
Yeah, looking down the course, seems to be a fairly solid breeze down to the leeward gate. Liam McMillan just looking back, keeping an eye on how things are progressing with Alinghi. Alinghi clear ahead of SAP for the moment.
That's the view that Morgan Larson has on the helm here on board Alinghi. His eyes, though, firmly set on the leader. Breeze just softening a little bit on this race course for the top 4 as they head down, and the lead, 90 metres or so.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of compression naturally as we get down to the leeward gate as the breeze is lighter, but also as the Wave Muscat makes their manoeuvre.
All neatly done on there. Of course, Will Howden has joined them on board, replacing an injured crew member from Oman. So Will Howden, of course, sailed with Lee McMillan here in 2008 on the Tornado and got, in fact, they won the medal race, but only came 6th overall. So it must be nice to actually be rejoined by his old Tornado crew.
Certainly a little bit of a catalyst for something on a very important day for them. I think yesterday their heads were down a little bit, wondering how they were going to get back into this regatta and try and catch Alinghi, who'd run away with it a little bit coming into today. But they've done some good work, and they're leading up the final race of the day.
Look, Alinghi are deciding that that's the way to go. They want that left-hand side of the racecourse as they go around the gate, splitting again from the Wave Muscat.
I think they just probably feel that there was not too many opportunities just following them, and they did have a nice little lift coming across on port tack further up the course last time, and they've got a nice angle coming away from this mark.
This time Lee McMillan is tacking to cover. He's coming across to the middle of the course, not taking it all the way up towards the commentary position here. He wants to keep an eye on what Alinghi is doing, because they certainly gained a bit by tacking to the left.
I think they just ran out of breeze last time. If they get a little bit more this time, then it might be the opportunity they need. But as you said, Lee McMillan and the team on the Wave Muscat doing a nice job of covering them. Nice acceleration, good pressure. And they should just cross the bows again off Alinghi in the next few seconds.
Morgan Larson doing the typical match racing tactics here, just trying to get everyone out of phase so that he's in phase as they come up towards the windward mark. Now Lee's tacking fairly early here.
He's just keeping that cover on, really, just Classic situation, keeping himself between his opponent and the next mark. Meantime, trying to string the best of the breeze together.
Alinghi coming in with a bit of boat speed. The Wave Muscat just slow to pick up their boat speed again. They're getting going now. This, of course, is first and second place on the podium.
And this will be the Wave Muscat earning 1 point against Alinghi. There were 2 points behind going into this race, so we could go into tomorrow with just 1 point between the top two boats, between Alinghi and the Wave Muscat, the two boats which have won acts so far this season.
Nice little puff of pressure for Lee McMillan, coming up to the windward mark, the green one, for the second time into the tack, well clear of Alinghi this time. Alinghi with a clear second place over SAP in third place, and the last race winner GAC Pindar in fourth.
That should keep their third place overall fairly solid. I don't think they've had a podium place yet this season, GAC Pindar, in the overall standings of the regatta. Certainly a confidence boosting day for them, or finish to the day for GAC Pindar, winning that last race, and they're up in fourth place just now.
The Wave Muscat then showing how to jibe right in front of the VIP area. Executed very well. Jenica just rolls briefly and then unfurls and is set. It's a manoeuvre they practice a lot.
Yeah, time running out then for Alinghi. Their opportunities are very limited now as the Wave Muscat come down across the finish line. Will be their third win of the regatta so far, I think.
Third win, yes, for today. So the defending champion, if you like, here at Qingdao has managed to move up the rankings after yesterday, and providing some good racing for us here in the stadium.
Yeah, that's right. As Alinghi started a little bit patchy to start with today, but they've got back on song and really are still the form team, you would say, still leading overall. Should be just 1 point in it. Meantime, GAC Pindar, Will Tiller and his young team go round the final mark of the day for them. Heading downwind, one more jibe I would think, and then down across the line they should get fourth place. As SAP, the Danish team, coming through for third. SAP Extreme lying fourth overall in this act.
Pete coming on board there, just furling the Genoa away. As the breeze is dropping off, as the race officers expected it to, so pretty much going to plan, really.
Indeed, but certainly a good call from the race officer and his team then, getting in these extra races. We've done 8 races today. That's fairly industrious, Steve.
It is, yes. You get a lot of bang for your buck, don't you, here at Extreme 40 Racing?
Yeah, I think there'll be some fairly tired bodies around the race dock once they come ashore. Not particularly breezy, but it's still pretty tough physical work. And 8 races in a day in anyone's language is quite a lot. Real Team then going across the line for 6th place.
China team didn't do so well then on this, holding back for that speedy start. Didn't really pay off for Mitch Booth this time round.
Indeed, and that little raft up at the pin end of the line off the start really cost Red Bull and Team Korea. Interesting to find out exactly what happened to Alinghi early on. Remember, Alinghi came off the line with perfect timing, looked to be going hell for leather for the windward mark, or the first mark, with a good lead. And Red Bull then double Olympic gold medalist Roman Hagara coming across in 7th. A little bit inconsistent today then, the team who have had 2nd place in both the acts so far this season. Not quite managing to maintain that level of consistency today.
And Team Korea last across the line, having to go back. Cost them dearly, really. So that breeze really lightning, isn't it? This is the problem, of course, that the race officers have, isn't it, with Stadium?
It is indeed, and it's been, as you said, a fairly long and intense day. And we're going to have a look at the provisional results overall. We do know that Alinghi are still leading by 3 points. In fact, Alinghi ahead of The Wave, Muscat. Alinghi on 102, The Wave, Muscat on 99, GAC Pindar on 85, SAP Extreme Sailing Team on 82, so just 3 between 4th and 3rd place. Red Bull Sailing Team a little bit inconsistent today, but on 80 points. Real Team on 79, China Team on 76, and Team Korea on 73. So that's the standings after 13 races here in Qingdao. Breeze just dropping away gently as we move into the evening here. We're expecting a light day tomorrow, but it is Alinghi who hold the upper hand as we look towards tomorrow. And meantime, The Wave, Muscat are on the charge. Join us again tomorrow live in Qingdao for the Act 3 of the Extreme Sailing Series in China.